I'd like to share with you an elixir. This is a drink which incorporates what I like to describe as the four kingdoms of nutrition. This is an approach which is what I like to describe as an easy upgrade. You don't have to change what you do in your everyday. You just add this in, this idea, this concept. So my name is Malcolm Saunders, and I've learned this little recipe here from a good friend of mine named Daniel Vitalis. He introduced me to this concept of the Savory Elixir, which I'm going to pass on to you. And it incorporates what I like to describe as the four kingdoms of nutrition. You know, if you're raised in Canada, most North American cultures have this idea of the four food groups. Well, this is a different kind of four food groups, and it includes plants, animals, bacteria, and fungi. Now think about those as your new four food groups. These are ancient four food groups. They are the kingdoms of life, of which each one of those has their own unique benefits to offer you. And you can get them all in one drink. So we're going to start with looking at exploring the idea of plants. You're obviously very familiar with this, from your vegetables to your herbs. There are a whole selection of plants out there to be consumed that have a wide variety of benefit. And science is coming out all the time with the benefits of, broccoli, known to cure cancer, whatever that is. There's more science, more food nutrition coming out about the realm of plants. We can look at this and think about it as a world of micronutrients. The phytochemistry that the plant kingdom offers us is extremely diverse, and it's very healing and very beneficial. So diversify the number of plants that you can consume, and I'll talk about a few that you can add in to this one simple drink. The next kingdom would be animals. Now animals you can consider more like our macronutrients. Of course, we're going to get protein and fats from there, but also really key essential vitamins and minerals, fat-soluble vitamins. Animals, you might be vegetarian, you may be a meat eater, but the kingdom of animals is very broad, very diverse. We can even include, what the insects offer us. Things like ants, things like bees, honey, bee pollen, sea fish. The kingdom of animals is very diverse and offers us very key nutrition. Now, the thing that we're going to focus on for this drink and incorporating from the animal kingdom is a bone broth. Now, a lot of people in our culture, our society, just eat, muscle meats, for instance, right? It's steaks, it's chicken breasts, it's this kind of a thing. And not only is there a lack of diversity in the types and the numbers of animals that one can consume, but also the parts of, right? You've probably been hearing this idea of how organs are very extremely nutritious, or bones. There's this trend towards the bone broth. You can go to a lot of major metropolitan cities, and attached to coffee shops or even standing alone is this idea of getting a bone broth, very deeply nourishing. And we'll come back to that idea. Next kingdom we're going to add in is bacteria. This is the idea of the fermented foods. Again, science and nutrition is coming out with all the benefits of fermented foods. How many different types of fermented foods do you consume? Are they living? Do they have those probiotics in them? This is a way, simple, easy, for you to add in this kingdom. Next, we're going to talk about fungi. We're going to add in those medicinal mushrooms. This, as a kingdom, offers us incredible benefits immunologically, and much, much more. And when you're approaching this, just start with adding in little bits. Begin to expand and diversify out as you begin to explore each kingdom. If you'd asked me as growing up, I would have said, sure, okay, I can accept that. The four food groups being plants, animals, bacteria, fungi. And if I really thought about it, I'd be like, okay, plants, I eat carrots and celery. Animals, I eat ground beef and chicken breast. Bacteria, I eat orange cheese and strawberry yogurt. And fungi, okay, I eat white button mushrooms. I've got them all. I've got all my four food groups. But of course, as we go into that, there's much more depth, much more diversity that I encourage you to get into for each of those kingdoms and expand. Go deeper into the quality and deeper into the quantity and the diversity especially. Okay, so this drink, to bring it all home, to make it super easy, maybe you're familiar with the idea of an elixir. Basically, it's been the evolution of the smoothie. It's been an upgrade on where we once started with, yogurt, banana, whey protein, and berries, which was great. And we've evolved. We've moved that forward. We've gone through these evolutions of, green smoothies and superfood smoothies. Now we have this idea of adding in the herbs, the super herbs. So quick easy definition of what an elixir is or could be for you is an alchemical delivery system of food, herbs, nutrition. Now, what I've done here and I'd like to present with you is most of the elixirs, most of the smoothies that you find out there, the recipes, the concepts, are based around, oftentimes, not always, something sweet. Now, this recipe here is based around the flavor of savory. We're going to have sour, we're going to have umami, and really, really fantastic. So one thing that you're going to start with is your base, and that is a bone broth. And like I mentioned earlier, the bone broth is using the bones of naturally fed or grass-fed animals and doing a decoction with that to extract the minerals and the nutrients that come from the bones, not often consumed in our society and our culture. Now, if you're making your own, what I highly recommend is we want to stack in the nutrition. We come from a culture and a society where we're too high in calories and too low in nutrients, especially a diversity of unique, rare nutrients that comes from the world of all these four kingdoms. So as you're making your bone broth, you can add in not just the bones, but medicinal mushrooms, things like reishi, things like chaga, things like shiitake mushrooms. Could be ones that are known for their culinary flavor. It could be ones that are known for their immunological properties. Put that right into the bone broth itself. You can add in medicinal herbs, something like astragalus. So this is a root famed in Chinese herbal medicine as a great tonic. That can go straight into your broth. You can add things like sea vegetables. Put that in as well. Of course, you're always going to add, your vegetable scraps, your kitchen scraps, like ends of celery, carrots, onions. Those have amazing beneficial properties, and we want to add those in there too. So that's just our start, and that's what this is here. So we've created that broth, strained it off, and now that becomes the base of our elixir here. So we have that warm, pour that into our blender, and we just continue to build and stack the nutrition, stack the nutrients. So that represents, first and foremost, the nutrients, the benefits of the animal kingdom. We do also have herbs and medicinal mushrooms in there, and we're just going to keep stacking and building. So next, I like to add in the miso. Now the miso here, this is a fermented product, traditionally from a bean or a grain. Oftentimes it's soy. This one here is a chickpea miso. So it's brown rice and chickpeas that have been fermented, now typically for 1 year. And those probiotics that we always hear about and all their benefits are what transform the chickpeas and the brown rice into what we know as miso. And we're going to get those probiotics from that. So I'll put that in. Also from the fermented bacteria kingdom, we have a fermented hot sauce. Now this one here, it's optional, but it's good for flavor, mixes right in. It's a fermented hot sauce with sea buckthorn berries. We add that in. That's going to add a nice bit of heat and also a little bit of tang. The bacterial kingdom primarily offers us those flavors of sour. So we got the savory, the umami, as well as a little bit of sour in there now too. All right. Optional, if you want a little bit more richness to it, you can add things like grass-fed butter or grass-fed ghee, which I have here. Okay, so we drop that in. Next, we're going to do the medicinal mushrooms. Now, we do have some in the original broth, but we also have some extracts of a number of different types of mushrooms. And you can find these kinds of things, like Coriolis or turkey tail in capsules. Or you can find a blend of 5 or 6 or sometimes 14 different mushrooms as a blend, already extracted, and boom, easy in, there it goes. Good dose of those medicinal mushrooms to get in every day. You can continue to add in different superfoods or herbs. If you didn't build up your broth with that nice, good mushroom, herbal rich base, this is also an opportunity to add it in or just to continue to deepen it and stack more in there. Last kind of final thing is a little bit of flavor. So here we have, and you can choose anything. I've just happened to choose what I call Cajun Seasoning. It's a mix of, chipotle, some cayenne, paprika, thyme, You could use, a curry spice blend, southern smoked spice, whatever that flavor is that you would like. Add that in. This one here, anytime I've made it for people, they get this reminiscence of like pizza, this flavor of pizza. So I quite enjoy it, and it's good for people who are maybe, hesitant to try your drink at first. Like, really, what are you serving me? But then they get that familiarity of that herbal flavor, like pizza. All right, so we take it and we just blend. Have a quick taste. As you can see, I didn't, specifically measure anything out. Really, how I approach food, how I approach nutrition is intuitively, and just adding a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we can taste, and we can always change. We can modify. One of the things that miso does is help give a nice, salty like base to it. And if you want more of that flavor, just add more of that. If you want a little bit more spice, a little bit more heat to it, add a little more hot sauce. But I think it's pretty good. That's just fantastic. So this drink for you is an opportunity to get all four kingdoms in one drink, stack the nutrition, diversify into all the different kingdoms, and within each different kingdom as well, bring in this whole diversity of nutrients that will give you energy, healing, and good smiles all throughout the day. All right, let's see what you think.
Excellent. Cheers. Just like pizza. We like.
All right, cheers.